A few years ago, I witnessed what had to be the worst presentation I've ever seen in my life. The speaker that day put us through a veritable hell on earth, and he committed every presentation sin in the book, including kicking off his speech by trying to sell us his book, walking us through chapter by chapter. Please buy my book. When instead, a great speaker starts by talking about his audience's interests and not his own. From there, he proceeded to talk nonstop for an hour without ever trying to engage us. Audiences today expect a conversation, not a lecture. We want to be a partner in the story that you're telling from stage. Finally, his slides were horrible. At one point, I counted more than 140 words on a single slide. As a friend likes to say, insert text here is a suggestion, not a command. But I had an epiphany that day, and it set me on a new path, a mission to make the world's conference rooms and ballrooms safe again for audiences by putting an end once and for all to death by PowerPoint. Researchers estimate that the average business person over the course of her career will spend the equivalent of 7 years being subjected to really bad PowerPoint. That's an exaggeration, of course. It will only seem like 7 years because far too many speakers run on and on. They bury us in information and data without ever giving us a reason to care. And if you try to say everything, you end up communicating nothing. Instead, we should be telling more stories. Stories are the most powerful form of communication there is. They humanize us. They put a face on an issue, and they connect us in a way that ordinary information just can't do. Stories also tap into emotion, and emotion is the key to driving decisions. If you want to change people's minds, first you have to grab their hearts, and an emotionally charged pitch can do that for you. By the way, here are the rest of the deadly presentation sins. You can either read the words here or listen to my voice, but you can't possibly do both. And maybe the worst sin of all is a speaker who reads to you the words that are on the screen. Now, one question continues to plague me. Why? Why do otherwise smart people still inflict death by PowerPoint on their audiences? It's not like we're lacking examples of great rhetoric. For years, we celebrated the legacy of Steve Jobs, who was a master showman. And we pass around the latest TED Talks like the proverbial village bicycle. But for some reason, we fail to adopt these lessons. I hear lots of excuses. Some say, well, I'm not unveiling the new iPad. I'm selling accounting software. My subject matter is boring or too complex. But that's a cop-out. Any subject can be made more interesting, more visual if you try. Others tell themselves that their topic is so important that people have to listen. It's need-to-know information. Or they've got a captive audience, as with a mandatory meeting. I hope we all know that that's a myth, because right at our fingertips is a world of unlimited information, alternative viewpoints, and easy distraction. Just because an audience is physically present doesn't mean they're not mentally checked out. Others say, well, I'm better when I wing it. As a trained improviser, I can assure you, you are not. One of the best presenters in the world spends 30 hours rehearsing a 1-hour speech. Here's the mother of all excuses, lack of time. Lao Tzu, the ancient father of Taoism, said, time is a created thing. To say I don't have time is like saying I don't want to. So let's make the time. Let's want it enough to practice and to plan and to use more stories and to be more visual and to invest our ideas with energy, because I can tell you it is worth it. A great presentation can do so many things. It can help you close a deal, rally a team, spread an idea, and maybe even change the world. By the way, that speaker who put us through hell that day and sent me on this quest, he was a professional marketer, someone in my own industry. So even professional communicators are subject to these sins. And that tells you we all have work to do to achieve salvation. And if I may add a 21st slide to this format, if you want to know more, there's a lot more in my book, 11 Deadly Presentation Sins, available on multiple platforms and in many different formats, including an audiobook narrated by me. Thank you so much.